There is a reason fasting has captured the attention of scientists, doctors, and longevity researchers around the world. It is not just about skipping meals, it is about switching the body into a completely different biological mode, a mode where cells stop focusing on growth and start focusing on repair, a mode linked to autophagy, cellular cleanup, and protection against oxidative damage. But here is the surprising part. Some of these powerful fasting pathways may be activated without fully fasting at all. In today's video, we are going to explore how a single teaspoon of a specific natural substance can trigger biological signals that closely resemble those seen during fasting. Signals connected to autophagy, signals linked to cellular repair, signals that help the body defend itself against oxidative stress. This is not folklore. It is not a wellness trend. It is rooted in real biology and supported by scientific research that most people never hear about. Many people believe fasting works simply because you eat fewer calories. That idea sounds logical, but it is incomplete. The real power of fasting comes from how cells respond to low energy availability. When nutrients are scarce, cells activate ancient survival programs. These programs slow aging processes, clean up damaged components, and improve efficiency at a microscopic level. For decades, scientists have been trying to understand whether these benefits can be activated without prolonged food restriction. The answer has led them to study certain foods and compounds that act as biological signals rather than sources of energy. In this video, you will learn what autophagy actually is and why it matters far more than most people realize. You will understand how oxidative stress quietly damages cells over time and why reducing it is one of the keys to long-term health. You will also learn how a small amount of a common ingredient can send powerful messages to your cells, telling them to shift into repair mode rather than storage mode. These effects are subtle, but they are measurable, and they happen at the level where disease and aging begin. There is an important reason to watch this video until the very end. Along the way, we will clear up common myths that confuse calories with biological signals. We will explain why more is not always better, especially when it comes to triggering protective stress responses in the body. And we will reveal why this teaspoon does not replace fasting, but may help support the same internal processes when used correctly. This distinction is critical, and missing it leads many people to misuse otherwise beneficial habits. You will also hear about lesser-known findings from laboratory and human studies that rarely make headlines. Findings about how certain plant compounds interact with cellular sensors, how mild stress can make cells stronger instead of weaker, and how the body's own defense systems can be activated more effectively than by relying on supplements alone. These insights help explain why traditional dietary patterns have been associated with longevity long before modern science understood the mechanisms behind them. This video is especially important if you are interested in metabolic health, aging, or fasting, but find long fasts difficult to maintain. It is also relevant if you want to understand the science behind health trends instead of following them blindly. By the end of this video, you will not only know what this one teaspoon does, but why it works, how it fits into the bigger picture of fasting biology, and what realistic benefits you can expect. Stay with us, because the most important takeaway is not about the teaspoon itself. It is about how the body responds to signals, not just calories. Once you understand that principle, many confusing health claims suddenly make sense. Welcome to our channel, where we break down complex health science into clear, simple explanations you can actually use. If you value evidence-based insights and want to learn how your body truly works, subscribe to the channel and stay with us. This is where biology replaces hype and knowledge becomes a tool for better health. Fasting is often explained as a simple reduction in calories, but that explanation misses what is actually happening inside the body. When food intake stops, the change is not just on the plate, it happens at the cellular level. Blood sugar begins to fall, insulin levels drop. This shift sends a powerful message to cells that the environment has changed. Energy is no longer abundant. Growth is no longer the priority. When insulin and glucose remain low for a sustained period, cells move away from storage and expansion. They stop building new tissue and start preserving what already exists. This is a fundamental survival response that has been programmed into human biology for thousands of years. Under these conditions, cells become more efficient. They reduce waste. They focus on maintenance instead of growth. This is the biological setting where autophagy becomes active. Autophagy is not triggered by hunger alone. It is triggered by signals that tell the cell resources are limited. Damaged proteins are identified. Worn-out cell components are broken down. These materials are recycled and reused to support essential functions. Instead of accumulating damage, the cell cleans itself from the inside. This process also reduces cellular stress. Fewer reactive byproducts are produced. Mitochondria work more efficiently. Inflammatory signals are reduced. Fasting shifts the body into a repair-focused state where quality matters more than quantity, and cellular cleanup becomes a priority rather than an afterthought. Fasting can be powerful, but it is not easy for everyone. Extended periods without food place stress on the body and the mind. Hunger signals grow stronger. Energy levels can fluctuate. For some people, fasting increases anxiety, disrupts sleep, or interferes with daily responsibilities. Others face medical limits that make fasting unsafe or impractical. Conditions related to blood sugar control, medication use, or hormonal balance often require a more cautious approach. Because of these challenges, researchers began asking a different question. If fasting works by changing cellular signals, could those same signals be activated without complete food deprivation? This curiosity led scientists to study specific compounds that influence the same metabolic and stress response pathways triggered during fasting. These compounds do not remove calories entirely. Instead, they act as messengers that tell cells to behave as if resources are limited. This is where the concept of fasting mimetics emerged. A fasting mimetic is a substance that activates key fasting-related pathways while allowing some level of food intake. These pathways include insulin signaling, energy sensing systems, and cellular repair mechanisms. The goal is not to copy fasting perfectly, but to capture part of its biological effect. Some fasting mimetics are found naturally in food. They tend to be rich in protective plant compounds rather than energy. These substances introduce mild stress at the cellular level, prompting adaptive responses that resemble those seen during fasting without the full burden of prolonged food restriction. The focus now turns to the 1 teaspoon that has drawn the attention of researchers studying fasting biology. Extra virgin olive oil is not just a source of fat, it is a complex mixture of bioactive compounds that behave very differently from refined oils. In small amounts, it does not overwhelm the body with energy. Instead, it delivers chemical signals that cells are able to recognize and respond to. 1 teaspoon is enough to provide these signals without significantly raising insulin or blood glucose. The key lies in the polyphenols naturally present in high-quality extra virgin olive oil. Among the most studied are oleuropein and hydroxytyrosol. These compounds are not used as fuel. They act as messengers that interact with cellular sensors responsible for stress response and survival pathways. When these polyphenols enter the body, They create a mild form of cellular stress. This stress is not harmful. It is controlled and temporary. Cells interpret it as a signal to adapt and protect themselves. In response, repair pathways become more active. Antioxidant defenses are strengthened from within. Damaged components are flagged for removal rather than allowed to accumulate. This type of response is part of a broader biological principle where small challenges make cells more resilient. Instead of pushing the body towards storage and growth, these compounds nudge it toward maintenance and repair, activating internal systems that closely resemble those seen during periods of fasting. This approach does not remove calories from the diet in the same way fasting does, and that distinction matters. Energy is still present, nutrients are still available, yet the body does not respond only to calories. It responds to signals. At the cellular level, extra virgin olive oil polyphenols activate some of the same sensors that respond during fasting. One of the most important of these sensors is AMPK, an enzyme that acts as a metabolic switch. When AMPK activity increases, cells shift away from energy storage and toward energy efficiency. Processes linked to repair and survival become more active. Oxidative damage is reduced because cells improve their ability to neutralize reactive molecules rather than allowing them to accumulate. This protection comes not from blocking oxidation directly, but from strengthening the cell's own defense systems. Mitochondria, the structures responsible for producing energy, also respond to these signals. They begin to work more efficiently, producing energy with less waste. This improves overall cellular function and reduces stress at the microscopic level. As these changes occur, autophagy-related signaling increases. Cells become better at identifying damaged components and breaking them down before they interfere with normal function. This type of response is known as hormesis. A small controlled stress leads to a large adaptive benefit. Instead of overwhelming the system, the signal encourages resilience. Cells adapt, strengthen, and behave in ways that closely resemble the internal environment created by fasting. Autophagy is a word that sounds complex, but the process itself is simple. It means self-cleaning. Every cell in the body constantly produces waste as it works. Proteins become misshapen, cell parts wear out. If these damaged components are not removed, they begin to interfere with normal function. Autophagy is the system cells use to prevent that buildup. During autophagy, old proteins are identified and taken apart. Damaged structures inside the cell are broken down into smaller pieces. These pieces are not thrown away. They are recycled and reused to build new functional components. This keeps the cell efficient and reduces internal stress. Over time, this cleanup process plays a major role in slowing age-related decline at the cellular level. Fasting is one of the strongest natural triggers of autophagy because it signals that resources are limited. Cells respond by conserving energy and improving internal quality control. Growth slows and repair takes priority. This shift allows cells to remove damage that would otherwise accumulate over months and years. Olive oil polyphenols support the same system in a more subtle way. They interact with the pathways that regulate cellular stress and repair. By creating mild stress signals, these compounds encourage cells to activate their cleanup machinery. The result is improved maintenance and better balance between damage and repair, without pushing the body into a full fasting state. Oxidative stress is one of the quiet forces that shapes how the body ages over time. It occurs when reactive molecules produced during normal metabolism begin to overwhelm the cell's protective systems. These molecules can damage DNA, alter proteins, and disrupt cell membranes. When this damage accumulates, cells lose efficiency and stability, aging accelerates, and the risk of chronic diseases gradually increases. The body is not defenseless against this process. Every cell contains its own antioxidant systems designed to neutralize reactive molecules before they cause harm. The problem arises when these systems are underactive or overwhelmed for long periods. This is where certain plant compounds play an important role. Polyphenols found in extra virgin olive oil do not simply neutralize reactive molecules on contact, their effect goes deeper. These compounds activate genetic pathways that increase the production of the body's own antioxidant enzymes. Instead of acting as a temporary shield, they strengthen the internal defense network. Cells become better prepared to manage oxidative stress on their own. This leads to more stable DNA, healthier proteins, and improved cellular resilience. This indirect approach is more powerful than relying on direct antioxidants alone. Rather than blocking individual reactions, the body learns to regulate balance internally. The result is reduced oxidative damage, better long-term protection, and a cellular environment that supports repair instead of decline. It is important to understand what this teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil does, and just as importantly, what it does not do. This is not a shortcut or a replacement for fasting itself. The body's response to prolonged periods without food is complex, and no single compound can replicate every aspect of that process. Eating freely throughout the day, while relying solely on 1 teaspoon to produce fasting benefits, will not deliver the results people often hope for. The signals triggered by polyphenols are subtle and supportive, not magical. Instead, this teaspoon works by enhancing certain pathways that fasting naturally activates. It nudges cells toward repair, autophagy, and improved stress resilience. It complements habits that already promote health, such as balanced nutrition, regular physical activity, and proper rest. Its effects are additive rather than transformative on their own. The polyphenols send mild stress signals that encourage adaptation, but the overall environment of the body still matters. Diet continues to play a central role. Nutrient quality, timing, and balance all influence how effectively cells respond to these signals. Likewise, sleep remains a critical factor. Cellular repair, hormone regulation, and metabolic efficiency are all closely linked to the quality of rest. Without a foundation of healthy habits, the benefits of this teaspoon are limited. It supports fasting biology, but it cannot replace a lifestyle built on consistent, evidence-based practices. This approach may be particularly useful for specific groups of people who are looking to support their health in a manageable way. For those easing into fasting, starting with 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil can provide a gentle introduction to the cellular benefits of fasting without the immediate challenge of skipping meals. It creates a mild signal for repair pathways, allowing the body to adjust gradually to periods of lower energy intake. People who practice time-restricted eating can also benefit during the eating window. Incorporating this small habit can amplify the internal signals that promote autophagy and cellular repair. It works alongside the fasting period rather than replacing it, helping to reinforce the body's natural rhythms and metabolic processes. Individuals focused on longevity may find value in this practice because it targets fundamental pathways linked to aging. Cellular cleanup, improved mitochondrial efficiency, and reduced oxidative stress are all mechanisms associated with longer health span. For those managing metabolic health, this teaspoon can complement dietary and lifestyle efforts by supporting insulin sensitivity and energy regulation at the cellular level. The key is consistency. A small habit repeated over time can have measurable effects. It does not require large doses or drastic changes, but it encourages the body to maintain repair-focused processes more regularly. Over time, these small, consistent signals contribute to better cellular function and overall health. The key principle to understand is that fasting is powerful not simply because it reduces calories, but because it changes the way cells behave. When food is limited, cells switch from growth and storage to repair and maintenance. They clean up damaged components, improve efficiency, and strengthen their defense systems. This shift is at the heart of the benefits often associated with fasting, from improved metabolic health to protection against age-related decline. Interestingly, certain foods can trigger some of the same signals even without full fasting. Compounds found in high-quality extra virgin olive oil, for example, create mild stress signals that the body interprets as a cue to activate repair pathways. 1 teaspoon of these polyphenols is enough to start these cellular responses. It is a small amount, but it sends a message that matters. The body reacts to the presence of these compounds rather than the absence of calories alone. This distinction highlights a broader principle in biology. Signals often carry more weight than energy intake. Cells are constantly monitoring their environment and responding to cues that indicate whether to grow, store, or repair. By providing the right signals, even in small quantities, it is possible to support internal processes that mimic fasting biology. Over time, consistent exposure to these signals can complement fasting practices and reinforce the body's natural repair mechanisms. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button. It helps us continue creating science-based health content that breaks down complex topics into simple, practical insights. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss a video that can help you understand how your body truly works. We would also love to hear from you. Comment below if you want us to dive deeper into fasting biology or explain more ways to support your body's natural repair processes. Your questions and experiences are what inspire our next videos, so join the conversation and let's explore this fascinating science together.